Hello, welcome to Pausing for Prayer. Pastor Lori here. I'm so glad that you joined us. I'm the pastor at the Fairton Methodist Church. And so if you have any requests that you'd like to add, make sure you put them in the comments and we will pray for them at the end. The devotion today from the upper room is called Surrendering All. And the scripture is Luke 18, verse 22. Jesus said to the ruler, "You still lack one thing. Sell everything you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come follow me." And the devotion talks about how this person had pled guilty to bank fraud. He was a CPA. So he had to surrender his license. So he was taking it physically off the wall, and he noticed that there was a label on there because his parents have had it framed. Let's see if I can see the quotes here. Nope. Okay. Had it framed, and because his parents have been so proud, they paid for this frame for their license, and that experience made them think of the wealthy ruler here in Luke 18. That person had went to church, lived a pretty good life, but always put their career, their success, and their money before God. And I dare say sometimes when you're trying to do God's work, you can get ahead of God and get yourself in a pickle. I know I have. And you need to have God first. Don't do something and ask God's permission later, or ask God to back what you're doing. You have to put God first, your relationship with God first. Otherwise, you're going to screw things up, which I have done on many occasions. I thank God for grace upon grace upon grace. If we're intent on living an abundant life, we need to place greater value on God and our relationship with God, more than worldly success, our career, our material possessions. When we put God first and seek God's will in everything we do, we will have everything we need. Not everything you want, but everything you need. And that is a true definition of success. Because there's a lot of people that have money or jobs, positions that are just so depressed because their life is empty because God isn't in it. And so we have to put God first in everything we do. And the thought for the day is, what am I putting ahead of my relationship with God? That's definitely something to chew on for a while. For our prayer request, we have, for those that have the virus, we know by name Kathy and Yolanda. For our schools, kids are going to be starting, some of them in a week. So pray for the parents and teachers and students. For those that have cancer, for Perry Ashman, especially him and his wife Marie. And we also want to lift up Bonnie. She's Perry's sister, and she may have to go down to Florida. So we want to pray for her in that whole situation. For Mike, who's starting another round of chemo, either this week or soon. For Sherry Fisher Riley, and for those from our church we regularly pray for. The Blues, and then the Johnsons. If you were in church yesterday or watching the live stream, tomorrow, I believe it's tomorrow, is Alice's 92nd birthday. So if you can give her a holler on the phone, I'm sure she would appreciate the birthday wishes tomorrow. But we thank God for that beautiful couple. For Miss Mary, Mrs. Lanning. For Bev, and we still want to lift up Reds. He's home, but he needs to get into Cooper to get his heart fixed. So I'm going to pray that happens soon. For frontline and essential workers, especially healthcare workers, nurses, doctors, EMTs, paramedics. Also, we want to lift up our police and firefighters. For Renee, who had to switch meds. We want to thank God for Kay coming home. She's home from rehab, and she's probably still on the mend a little bit and getting used to the old routine. But I saw she's getting back to her craft, so she must be doing pretty well. For Jody, for a healthy pregnancy, and for this home that they're going to rent, for that to come soon. They have to do an inspection, everything you have to do to get an apartment. For Jimmy to have surgery on his back and direction on unemployment or employment. For Nick, who fractured his ankle, he's still healing and he's getting around a lot better, but he still needs prayer. For our churches, our pastors and leaders, especially financially during this time. And for just wisdom and encouragement for their pastors, because we need it. For Terry, who works in a nursing home, we want to lift her up. She works at Genesis. For Aaron, he has stage 5 kidney failure, and he's having some kind of surgery tomorrow. I don't know exactly what, but we want to pray for that. I just remembered that. If I don't write it down, I probably will forget to pray. That's why if you give me a prayer request, I pray for it when I get it, and if I don't write it in this book, I don't remember. So sorry, especially Margaret, sorry. I wrote your thing down, though. For Jen, for encouragement. Yvonne, for strength. For George, we have been praying for him just to continue to heal and respond. He's walking, talking, and eating, but just continue for healing. For Betty, who is having knee replacement. For Valerie, who's a pastor that started a new church start. For Kenny, he had cellulitis in both his legs. He is now home, but he has something on both his legs to help heal it, but he can't work, and he may have to figure out something different, so we want to pray for him for that. For the residents of the manor, and for their loved ones who can't visit. For Vicky's daughter. For Maxine, for comfort, for healing. Also for her friend Mary. For Rich, who I guess may be home from rehab, or he's coming to the end of his rehab. So I want to definitely keep him in prayer. For Lebanon to continue to heal and recover. For Denise's brother, Dave, who has multiple myeloma. For people in the Midwest who suffer from the derecho storm, can't pronounce. For Marlene, who is supposed to move next month to South Carolina, but the house we found out this week, the house that she was going to move into burnt down. Sometimes if you don't have bad luck, you have no luck, I guess. But she's going down there this week to, try to get another house. For Madison, who's 18 years old, has stage 3 breast cancer. For the Rule family, I think that's how you say that. I hope so. Sorry, Margaret. For the passing of Jim. Craig, I believe, asked for prayer. He put little prayer emoji. So I'm going to pray for him regardless. For Jill, who is now at college in the dorm, just to be safe and to be a witness of Christ to those that she encounters. And for Tom Hall, he has a procedure on Thursday. I didn't see any other requests, but no, if I don't see it up there or you have a request that's on your heart and mind, I will do unspoken ones. So I know there's a lot of times we don't share things that are bothering us because we like to keep things private, and we still need prayer, though. So let's go to God in prayer tonight. Lord, we thank you that we can have this prayer ministry. We can lift up those that are on our hearts and minds. So right now, I lift up those that didn't, the unspoken requests. For anyone that needs healing or needs your grace or needs to feel your love tonight, they would feel that and they would know your presence tonight. I lift up those that have the virus that we know by name, Kathy and Yolanda. I ask that you would continue to heal their body, mind, and souls, that you would help them as they endure being in the hospital, and any kind of after effects, that you would just continue to strengthen them and heal them. We lift up those that have cancer. We especially want to lift up Perry Ashman, who's having a rough time, and especially his wife Marie, who may also have to have surgery. I also want to lift up Bonnie, who may be traveling to help take care of her brother. You know what their need is right now today, and I ask that you would be known to them. You would provide for whatever they need. I lift up Mike, who's going to start another round of chemo, that you would strengthen his body, and I pray that it would work and do the job that it's supposed to. Lift up Sherry Fisher, Riley, and Helen as well. Cancer is a terrible disease, and it's a scary disease. So I ask that you would comfort all those that have cancer, and that you would bring healing to them. We lift up those from our church, the Blues and the Johnsons. We thank God for Alice having a birthday, 92. It's amazing. She's an amazing lady, and I thank God you for her. And I ask that you would bless her day tomorrow, that she have a really fun and exciting as you can be for 92, a great birthday. I also want to lift up Miss Mary, Mrs. Lanning. I want to lift up Bev as well. You continue to heal her and keep her safe. Also, I want to lift up Reds to you. I thank you for him getting through the surgery he had and getting him home, because it's always better to be in your own bed. But he also needs to get into Cooper. So I pray that these doctors would move a little faster, and that they would do well by him and be able to fix his heart so he can get back to doing the things that he wants to do. But be with him as he can't do the things he wants to do, that you would give him patience and give him people to encourage him. I lift up frontline and essential workers to you. I especially think of those people in the stores and our healthcare workers, our nurses, doctors, EMTs, and paramedics, that you would keep them safe as they take care of us and keep them safe from the virus, and give them an extra sense of your patience as they deal with the public. I lift up our police and firefighters to you, that you would be with them as they go on calls and they have to make judgment calls, that you would give them your wisdom and your strength. I lift up Renee to you, Lord, and I ask that these meds that she's had to switch to will be right for her. Thank you for the progress Kay has made, and that she's home and back to doing crafts and things she loves. And I thank you for the progress she's made, and I ask that you continue to heal her. I also lift up Jody to you, and I thank you for her presence and her family being back in Jersey. But they're trying to get into this house, and so I pray that you would move on the township or whoever has to do this CO, and that it would go through soon. Give her patience as she waits, and also help her as she is pregnant to have a healthy pregnancy. I also lift up Jimmy to you, and I ask for healing for him, and his pain would be manageable, and he would be with him as he looks for a new job. I lift up Nick to you, and you know all the concerns of his heart. Been dealing a lot this year, especially this ankle and foot. So I ask that you would bring healing to him, to his body, and to his mind and soul as well. I lift up our church to you, and I thank you for the leadership that you've given me with these people, and I thank you for all the other churches in the area, and I lift up their pastors to you, that you would give them wisdom and patience and encouragement. I lift up Terry to you, as she's a nurse in Genesis, and that you would keep her safe and give her your wisdom and patience as well. Aaron is going for surgery tomorrow. He has many health concerns, so I lift him up to you, that you would keep him safe and get him through this procedure well, and then he would come home tomorrow and be on the mend soon. I lift up my friend Jen to you. She's also had a rough year, and we all have, I guess, but I just ask for encouragement for her. I lift up Yvonne, who needs strength. And I lift up George to you. I ask for continued healing for him. He's made so much progress, but I ask that you would continue to heal him and give him patience, as he probably can't do everything he wants to do yet, but continue to heal his body. I lift up Betty to you, Lord, who needs knee replacement, that you would give her patience as she waits, and if she's already had the surgery, that you would bring healing to her knee. I lift up Valerie to you, who's another pastor doing a new church start. Starting a new appointment is never easy, but in her situation needs an extra prayer. So I ask that for her. I lift up Kenny to you, and I thank you that he's home, but he has these things on his legs. I ask that they will work and help heal his cellulitis, and that you continue to heal his body, because the infection that went into the rest of his body as well, and help him have wisdom on what to do for his employment as well. We lift up the residents of the manor and their relatives that can't visit them. We lift up Vicky's daughter, that you provide for any need that she has. For Maxine, for comfort and for healing. And for Mary, as she can't visit her friend right now, that you would intervene and that Maxine would know that she is loved. I lift up Rich to you, who is in rehab or is out of rehab. I'm not sure exactly the timing on that, but I lift him up to you because he's new to sobriety, that you would give him strength, that he would learn to put his faith in you, and that you would help him to stay sober. I lift up Lebanon to you, and I ask for continued healing for that land as they continue to recover. I lift up Denise's brother Dave, who has multiple myeloma, that you would help him as he goes through treatments for radiation and maybe chemo, that you would just help him to stay strong. I lift up those in the Midwest, especially the farmers that had to deal with this storm, that you would help them to recover well, and you would help the insurance to come through for them as well. I lift up Marlene to you, who's trying to move to South Carolina and then had this setback, this house burnt down. And so I ask that you would help her to be able to be, as she travels back and forth this week to look for a new apartment, you would keep her safe, and that you would help her as she's trying to get everything together to move. I lift up Madison to you. I ask for healing for her. She has stage 3 breast cancer. I ask for comfort for the Rule family on the passing of Jim Rule. And I lift up my buddy Craig to you, that he would, whatever need that he has, that you would provide for him. I lift up Jill to you at college, and any of those that are starting college right now, but I especially lift her up as she's in the dorm, so you keep her safe, and also help her to be a good witness of her faith, and help her to be able to have a clear mind to be able to study. And then also have a good time and get make new friendships as well. I lift up Tom Hall to you, who's having a procedure on Thursday, and I ask that would go well, that he would be able to recover quickly from it. And we thank you so much that we can pray. And I ask all these things in your name. Amen. Well, I thank you for joining us, for pausing for prayer. We're going on a little trip this week, but I think we will be back on Wednesday. If not, I will definitely post on email if we're not going to pray formally. I will definitely pray for you regardless. So if you have any prayer requests, you can email me at LoriMitchell@hotmail.com or send me a private message. Thank you, guys. Love you. See ya.